everybody, how's it going? If you're new here, welcome. Today we'll be looking at the SuperEQ A200s. This is going to be a Bluetooth wireless pair of headphones that, honestly, the specs on these things look really wild. If you guys hadn't checked those out yet, you're about to, because we're going to go over everything that it comes with, that these things can do, and we're going to be doing some sound comparisons to see the audio quality, which, spoiler alert, it's going to be impressive. All right, and here we go. The SuperEQ A200 Hybrid ANC wireless headphones. This one does feature a USB-C microphone that is detachable. And of course, over here on the side, we do have the 1000 milliamp hour battery, the PU breathable ear cups, the 100 hours of playback time, which is incredible. Got the tagline, be free, be heard. 100 hours of usage. Right here on the back, we do have some of the tech specs, which we'll go over here shortly. And one thing to note is that 20 hertz to 40,000 hertz on that frequency response rate. That's going to be crazy, but feel free to pause and see anything that you might need, such as contact information. But of course, before we open this thing up, let's go ahead and talk about those tech specs. And of course, we'll start off with the 40 millimeter dynamic drivers that the headphones do have. Those headphones do produce 20,000 to 40,000 kilohertz, so huge range. It does have Bluetooth 5.4, active noise canceling for the ANC, hybrid ANC. We do have pass-through, which is a super neat feature, which it says minus 38 decibels for reduction when it comes to the ANC. Battery life is 100 hours of playback time for the standard mode and about 60 for the ANC. Now, one cool feature with how long the battery lasts, even with the charging, you do have 5 minutes. That's all you need. And then you get 7 hours of playback. So if this thing dies on you, just charge it for 5 minutes and you got 7 hours of usage. That's crazy. And with that in mind, if it does die and the battery is no longer using and you just have no way to charge it, there is a 3.5 cable that you can use. It's not going to be nearly as nice, but it'll still work even with the battery dead. Again, we'll use USB-C for that charging, and the microphone is detachable, which a cool feature we'll look at here later is the mute button is on the tip of the microphone. Not really sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll do some testing with that. We'll see if there's any noise when you press the button. And then there's also a volume wheel that's on the back of the thing when you want to adjust the volume, the track, and change everything about the headphones, including the button that's close by for the ANC swapping. But if you guys are enjoying the video so far, feel free to drop a like, drop a subscribe, and if you have any questions that I don't cover in the video as you continue on, feel free to ask them in the comments down below. If you have any questions about any video on the channel, I'm always happy to answer. If there's something that I didn't cover that you want to know, feel free to drop it in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But with getting back to it, let's go ahead and get back into the unboxing so we can see what we get. All right, so let's go ahead and open this thing up, and we've got the headphones sitting right here on top in their plastic bag. As soon as you move those out of the way, you see the accessories right underneath. And we'll go ahead and get the accessory baggie that has everything inside of it. And then we have the manual itself, along with a little extra card for downloading their app. The app is not required, but you do get some really cool features inside the application, which we'll check out here later. Let's go ahead and get this stuff off the desk so we can go ahead and unbox the accessories and the goodies. We'll go ahead and shake these out as much as we can. They want to be a little stuck, so we're just going to have to get them out here. There we go. And so there's that 3.5 millimeter cable. It looks to be gold-plated, and since it's just a dual 3.5, anyone would work perfectly fine, but it does come with one. We do have the USB-A to USB-C charging cable. Nothing too crazy, just a standard cable. And then we got that mic. And it's a little different. It does have that USB-C on one end, the mic on the other one, and there's that button. That button is for muting. And through my testing, you kind of can. You can hear a little bit of something when you first clip it. At least the other person can if you're on a call or something like that. But After you click it, then obviously you don't hear anything. All right, then we got the QR code here for downloading the app. We can get this thing to focus. The app itself does have some pretty cool features. I do love that we see Aptroid there. On some phones do have that around the world. Love that. And then we do have the manual, which I see something that I like. It's a booklet. We got staples in this thing, which fantastic. Love it. Hate it when they do roadmaps. All right, so this has a lot of languages, so we're just going to start off with the first few pages. We do have the list and specifications that are inside of here, such as the total weight of being 285 grams, which we'll check out here later in the weight test. The different functionalities, the buttons, and where everything plugs into, along with that multifunctional wheel. There's instructions on what the wheel does and how to use it. We do have some charging information and how to take care of that with active noise canceling, and some safety precautions and when and how to use it. And then that's it. It goes to the next language. I love it. Short and sweet to the point. Gets all the information in there as you need to either use it or operate it or take care of it. Now we'll go ahead and get this thing out of the bag. It's kind of a weird shape, so you kind of have to get it out one way and then all the way around to the other one. But here they are. The A200s. Kind of an odd shape for the headband, but I can tell you, with all the movability of these things, these are comfy. They can move, they can tilt, they can go any direction you need them to. And they will fit perfectly fine with that PU leather. Right inside here, we can get the model. There's the charging for that 5-volt 1 amp. And so just so you know, so you don't overcharge it with too powerful of a charger. We try to get this stuff. It's always a little difficult to get this thing to focus with inside the bands of these headphones. See if we can't get this to show the little bits of detail. There we go. The manufacturer, batch number, and things like that. But again, shape's a bit weird, but these are so comfy. The PU leather feels nice. Now, longevity-wise, the PU leather is just notorious for, at some point, fading. But that's just the nature of the beast for the material. We have that USB-C port for the microphone. There's the 3.5 millimeter jack for using the cable. That's the A and C button, so when you tap that, it'll go into the different modes. And then you have the volume wheel / multifunctional wheel. When you twist it in just normal mode, it'll just adjust the volume. And then if you click it in multiple successions in different patterns, you can look at the manual and that'll do different things, such as play, pause, go back, forward. We'll go ahead and get this mic plugged in here so you can see how this looks. And that mute button on the end. Again, I don't know about how I feel about the mute button being on the end. It seems to be okay as far as it being used and the testing that I've done, but it's different. It's completely different. But of course, right here on top, we can see the Super EQ on both sides. And then we've got a pretty smooth action here for adjusting. It's not like clicky, but it's really smooth for it. So it fits your head really nicely. But what else is nice is that ear test. So we're going to put these things on the ears, and we're going to test out how these things sound. And they're going to be going up against the DT990s, the Pros. And so we're going to go ahead and see how those sound in comparison. And now the DT990s, if you want some more information on that, you can do a Google search. Those are very well tested, and they're out there in the audio hi-fi space. And so if you want more details on that, why we're using them, just go ahead and do a quick Google search. But either way, they're cheap, they're good, and they're like the best low-end you can get. Well, let's go ahead and compare these things together, and let's go ahead and see how the Super EQ A200s compare. Okay, so we got to hear how they sound. This is crazy. This pair of headphones, these A200s, are eerily close, if not better, than the DT990s. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to scoot over. We're going to have the graphs here. So here is weird and wild. These headphones are on AliExpress for like $30 to $40, 50 depending. It depends on the seller, but 40 to 50 bucks, give or take. 30 if you can catch it on a good day. These are so close to the DT990s, it's disgusting. And the part that's crazy, which we'll check out here next, is in the app. You can adjust the EQ. So you see that dip right there where it's supposed to be a bump, because that's just the standard curve, right? That's the baseline that what good is supposed to sound like. And the DT990s are pretty close to it. But we do have that dip for the A200s, which we could use the app to do an EQ to bump up the frequency there. And that would be ridiculously close. Because on the high side, as it trickles down, it's closer than the DT990s where they have a bump. The low ends are about the same, if not a little bit higher for the A200s. Now, granted, the DT990s, they're wired. So you don't have to worry about a battery or anything like that. But the fact that one of these is 30 to 50 bucks. The other one is $200+, or you can get it less than that if you can find a good sale or a used pair. But the price difference is 4 to 5x difference. And yet the A200s are so close. I honestly think out of everything on this channel, for the history, so far the A200s are absolutely the number1 sounding pair of headphones we've had on this channel. And I think they're actually the cheapest. As far as the headsets we've done Nubo, we've done Red Dragon, we've done a ton, and yet these have some of the best sound. They have some of the best frequency response rates, and they go toe-to-toe with the baseline headphones we use to test these headsets on the channel. So if that's not enough for you, I don't know what is, but these are getting an absolute W and a win today on the comparison. So congratulations to the SuperEQ for that. But we do need to go and test some more stuff. So let's go ahead and test out the application so we can see what all you can do, such as modifying the EQs. We'll check that out. So let's go ahead and see what all we can do inside the app. All right, so we start off here inside the app. You go ahead and add a device. You do have to allow it to see devices in the location near you. Give it just a second, and you'll be able to see your headset. And so there's mine. We're going to go ahead and tap that, and it shows up in the app instantly. Now, once you tap on it, you do have the home, EQ settings, and more. It shows you your battery life, which is cool. Now, if you go into it, you have your transparency mode, off, and noise reduction for the ANC, which is cool that you can just switch between these in the app. You don't have to press the button if you don't want to. Here in the EQ settings, this is the really fun part. We can actually bump up, where here on the EQ, you can bump it up, or if you want to they have some presets here. You can obviously adjust these if you'd like, but they do have some presets that do some pretty good settings, just right out the gate for you. Now, we do have different modes. We have music mode and game mode, which game mode does reduce the latency a little bit for gaming. You can change the device name if you'd like. You have hearing protection if you want to turn that on to make sure, like, giving kids, they can't turn it up too loud. We do have time shutdown, so if you wanted to turn off after a certain amount of time, you can. Of course, you can set this up to 23 hours and 59 minutes, so almost 24 hours, considering you get 100 hours on this thing. And then you do have reset. So there's not a whole lot of settings, but there are very, very important settings. So you don't need to make it an account. You just have to open up the app, try it, get things going. I love that. Makes things a whole lot easier, and you can just use the headphones as intended. All right, so next we're going to go into the mic test. So we're going to be using, obviously we have our Mayano here as our baseline, but we're going to go ahead and test out the Super EQs and see just how well they perform. And we're going to also do some modification with some SteelSeries and see if we can't bring some of that fidelity back.
All right, and so this is going to be the A200s. It's sounding pretty okay. It's still going to be a wireless pair of headphones, but since it's really close to your mic and it actually comes out and around, sound pretty good. I mean, it sounded like it's not picking up a whole lot of background noise or anything like that. It sounded really clear. Next, we're going to go ahead and do SteelSeries and add a little bit back into it. But before we do that, let's go ahead and test the button here for muting. And so there's a little bit of a tap sound, and you can hear that, but it's nothing too crazy, but it is, right there on the mic. So it's a little different, but glad we were able to check that and get it out of the way. So let's go ahead and hear SteelSeries on how this sounds. All right, and so this is the SteelSeries. It's not too bad. It does add those lows back in. Seems like it's cutting out a little bit of something with it too on that. So you could potentially tweak that, but this is just my standard settings that I use for everything. So it's going to sound pretty good. You will be heard. You are clear. But overall, it's still going to be a wireless pair of headphones. But if you're taking a call or if you're on the go, this should do you just fine. It's not like they're going to have a hard time hearing you.
But let's go ahead and go to the weight, and let's go ahead and compare and see how well it holds up to that 285 grams remark that they made in the manual. All right, let's get these things on there. And it's a little bit more. The 285, maybe not with the microphone, but it's 298 with it. So maybe they didn't have it with the microphone during their weight comparison, but everything together, you're almost at 300, which is not terrible as far as the total weight for a pair of headphones. But let's go ahead and go into the sound meter next, and let's go ahead and click everything we can so we can see just how loud those clicks are in a nice quiet space. All right, my room noise is roughly about 33 to 35, so we're going to go ahead and start clicking the buttons. We're getting about a 46 to 47 on the wheel. And, of course, clicking around, rolling it doesn't really do a whole lot. The ANC button isn't super loud. Does get you up to, depending on it getting equalized here, 49, 50. Again, about the same. The slider for the headphones themselves to adjust the height is super quiet at about 40, so it only adds about maybe 5 decibels as it slides around. So nothing too crazy for it. But overall, these headphones, I cannot recommend more. Stupidly long battery life, over 100 hours. Depending on your volume on these things, you can get 100 to potentially more if you don't want it super loud. You have hearing protection inside the app. That's a really nice feature. You can adjust the EQ. The baseline frequency response rate is incredible compared to headphones that are well regarded in the audiophile community, and that they go toe-to-toe with it. And what they lack in the kind of mid-ish high range, you could just adjust that in the EQ and potentially remove that entirely. Now, that's a lot of testing. We didn't do that here, but we're showing you what you get out of the box and how it performs. But you've got some really awesome stuff that you could do with these headphones. The sound quality's there. The speakers are there. The microphone isn't too bad. And so overall, everything looks good. They sound good. And the fact that they're like $40 on the midway point for the price on AliExpress, you guys need to pick up a pair. Links for everything will be down in the description below, so make sure that you're going down there and clicking that. They would love to see you guys over there on the AliExpress. Get these things pretty much worldwide, almost anywhere that AliExpress can get it to. But let me know if you have any comments about it, any questions, down in the comments down below. Put them in there, and I'll be able to answer them as much as I can, and I'll get to you as quickly as possible. If you guys haven't done it yet, feel free to subscribe. If you're at this point, you're hearing my voice, you are absolutely the best. Thank you so much, and we got some more videos coming on the way, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.